think Lachlan can get it started while I...
Well, he tries to beat my score. I think when I was young, my two older brothers played music, played drums and bass and stuff, but I wasn't really that into it. Even in high school, I didn't really think much of it. And it wasn't till after high school that I actually started doing something with it and started playing trumpet and got this band together with Shane. And yeah, and it's only even now that I'm actually studying music and actually learning how to understand it and how to actually do it properly instead of making it up, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think when I was in... Oh, my turn. When I was in the States, I saw a band that I really liked and it sort of inspired me to do something musically and and sort of came back from there and met up with Shane again and then it sort of went from there, I guess. And we dominated, like I am in this game. Whoa!
Yeah, so Lachlan came to me as a guy who hadn't played, fully in a band before or anything, and I was playing in a bit of a pop band at the time, and I was playing in a
best band in the world,
and a band called AID, which was a death metal band at the same time, and around that sort of point in history, Lachlan came up to me, and because he was my mate, and that's what you do when you're friends, you generally talk to each other, and he said, hey, I want to start this band, and I want it to be fun, and I want to wear lots of costumes, and I want to just go crazy and all that, and I was just like, okay, that sounds good, and I thought it was a really dumb idea. And anyway, the pop band I was in and AID, that my death metal band, broke up virtually on the same night, and I was basically just thought, well, why not see where this idea takes us, because Lachlan had a pretty big vision of what he wanted for the band and stuff, and he just needed kind of like a songwriter and someone to kind of be a bit of the driving force, and so we're a bit of a team.
Made sense of it all.
Made sense, and yeah, so at the time we sort of, the whole scene was like the north coast of New South Wales, sort of Ballina, Byron Bay, and there was a really awesome Christian music scene up there, and there was about a dozen bands, and it was just awesome. And yeah, and there was just heaps of gigs going on all the time, and we were just, I don't know, we were just sort of part of that scene, and we just really wanted to, I don't know, what would you say?
Take control.
No, like it was an awesome scene, because like everyone just wanted to sort of, follow God and just sort of get out there and sort of be a witness to people, like in the mainstream scene. And there was just so many bands, and in fact, like when we came down here, when FRUGALS eventually broke up, and Lachlan and Beck and myself, when we moved down here, we noticed that like Adelaide had had that scene, and it's kind of died off now, and you can kind of see that's kind of building back up and to a new generation, which is really exciting. But yeah, like at the time there was a lot of people coming to shows, and it was a really great time, and the FRUGALS ended up becoming the biggest band on the north coast, and sort of just really quickly, and we weren't expecting any of that, and we were just, I don't know, people just started to come to our shows, and then we had to keep touring, and all of a sudden, I don't know.
And get more members.
We had to get more members. Yeah, but we started out as a four-piece, Lachlan playing trumpet and singing, and Beck on bass, who's now my wife, and Morgan Douglas, who was 12 at the time when he joined the band. And Five Iron Frenzy actually wrote to us and said that we shouldn't have Morgan in the band. Yeah. So yeah, that's my part. I can't actually do two things at once. I need to succeed. Lachlan. Oh, so how's that going so far?
Yeah, no, sounds really good. See, so when did the FRUGALS start?
Oh yeah, see, Lachlan, he wants really specific stuff, and we were just cracking on.
When did it start?
Give him some years, give him some dates.
Cool. Well, I finished school in '96, and me and Shane both finished in '96, long time ago. I headed off to America the next year for a couple of months. And I think it wasn't until the start of the 98 or something that it sort of...
97.
97, it sort of... We met at this camp again and met Beck and this guy that was going to play drums, but it didn't work out. We met and the sax player.
His name was Chris and he was into Korn. That's why it didn't work out.
And that's where it sort of got birthed, but it didn't really... I don't think our first show was until the start of... in March or something in 98. So
Yep.
it started in the end of 97, but we got out on there and did our thing in March. March 98. So. And played together for about 5 years. Came to Adelaide about 3 times, I think, and played here in the underground.
Got picked on.
Twice, I think.
Got heckled by the $2 crew.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it was good. Played a couple of the schools around here, and and meeting all the people that were actually at those schools now is really weird. So I was there.
They're all like 32 now.
Yeah.
So obviously there was like a real buzz around like sort of like the Adelaide scene was cranking for a while.
Yeah.
Was that one of the main reasons you guys came down here, or like just talk us through that?
Well,
How did we get?
I can't believe I just ran into a mirror. Damn it. Well, Lachlan, can I answer for you?
Sure.
Well, Lachlan just loves horses and riding them naked, and there just seemed to be a lot of horses down here, and so he just wanted to be a part of that whole scene. And for me, like Think Tank was after a new guitarist, and the Frugals had broken up, and I was good friends with the guys by then from coming down those few times, and got a call. Hey, we know you've broken up, and we want to steal you. And Beck and I were thinking about moving to Melbourne, but we didn't really have any plans. We were at a bit of a crossroads, and but we really loved Adelaide, and we liked Melbourne too. But we thought, hey, love Adelaide. Yeah, it is too cold, and there's no horses there.
No.
And we just thought, hey, let's do it. Think Tank are a great band.
Extra man.
Great band, and why not do it? So that's what we did. And but it was really amazing. Like the whole sort of career of the Frugals, like there's a sense that that God was with us the whole time, and there was just so many occasions on tour where we were like, we are not going to eat, or man, we're just our car would die, like we'd blow a head gasket or something, and and it was just amazing how God provided in that. So it's pretty cool.
Now, like you've obviously pumped out a few records in the time. Can you just talk us through your sound progression?
The sound progression.
Of the Frugals.
Well, it started off pretty insane, like a kind of a cross between Mr. Bungle meets Five Iron Frenzy meets Madness meets I don't know. It was pretty nuts. Like the early stuff that we did had a lot of screaming and a lot of fast, mixed up, sort of chaotic beats and stuff. But there was definitely strong elements of ska there, and there was a trumpet in the beginning and stuff. So I don't know. And from there, that was most well reflected on Honky Tonk Cowboy Rides Again, our demo tape from 1998, which we actually, ironically, Lachlan, we recorded that in horse stables.
Yeah, it's true.
And and then from there, we were like, let's get a little bit more punk on everyone. And so we kind of incorporated punk and stuff into our sound and recorded in 1999 an EP called Just What You Need for Christmas. And and a lot of crew got into that, and we sold about 100 times more than what we thought we were going to sell. And and at that point, we just knew that that there was a demand for the band and that things were really happening for us. So we toured on that CD for a couple of years, and by that stage, the Frugals in like Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria had grown really big, and we were getting a lot of people to our death. Yeah. To our shows,
game over.
Game over. What? I swear you'll get an extra man on this, man. It's terrible. So yeah, so we started touring a lot, and and just sort of like the Frugals were starting to get a really big name for themselves up there. It wasn't really. We actually didn't come down here until a year and a bit just before we broke up. So by then we were pretty worn out and pretty tired. So I don't know. Probably didn't have the same sort of energy. I don't think people in Adelaide got to really see the Frugals at their peak, and which is a bummer because we're living here now and stuff. But that's all right. Like. But yeah, we did the EP and that went really well, and from there we basically kind of got almost to a point where we were almost a good band, and thought that we'd record this album called Formula for Success.
Still going.
So I told you, man. And yeah, Formula for Success was a bit of a pun at the music industry, particularly the Christian music industry, because as much as we loved the bands and the people that were a part of it, it became really apparent to us it was very formula derived, and we sort of felt really frustrated by that. And we were with a record company at the time who were really pushing us to be a particular sound and all that, and really put pressure on us to be something and to look something and sound something that we weren't. And because we didn't know any better and we were still young, and I think Morgan was only 15 or 16, our drummer, and I was like 21, so we're still really young, and we kind of just did what we were told, and it wasn't really a good idea because we kind of knew what our fans and friends liked, and we kind of steered away from that and went into a more of like a pop kind of format, which was cool in part, but for the most part, it wasn't really being true to ourselves, and we really feel that was a mistake. And so,
another high score.
What? Lachlan, at this point, just so you know, Lachlan's got first, third, and fifth, and I have got nothing. So he's ripping it up. Sucks. Yeah. So, but the good news was that we got a guy named Richard Dimmick in the band, second guitarist for the first time, which really like maxed out the sound, and he was really hairy, which is great. And he could stick a pencil in his chest hair.
That was good.
It was really cool. And Michelle Jones, a sax player, and she didn't have any chest hair, but she was good too.
Good woman without chest hair.
Yeah, nothing like a woman without chest hair.
That's true.
So obviously, like a massive achievement, like to sort of pump all that out, and it's a huge story behind the band. What are some of the big highlights, like any biggest show you want to talk through, biggest sort of, I don't know, some heroic story or something?
I think for me, I guess it's a highlight for me is that we got to go to New Zealand and play at the Parachute Festival, which is really huge over there, and somehow we got in and we were on our way to New Zealand, and I was like, wow, this is cool, and heaps of people there, and we got to see been in New Zealand, do some other shows and that, and it was just a cool experience actually going overseas with this band, and so that was at the start of when we went full time, and heaps of adventures and stuff, but yeah, it was just cool hanging in New Zealand and meeting New Zealand people. And
they also have sausages with cheese in the middle.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Really loved that. Really appreciated that. And just felt
really
that
felt
summed up New Zealand culture really well. New Zealand was great, but they believed that Weet-Bix was they believed Weet-Bix was theirs, like it was New Zealand made. Like there's a factory there, and I want to give them credit for that, but it's actually Australian made, and that really frustrated me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, apart from that, it was really good. What else? It was funny watching the tour videos and stuff.
That's true.
We've got heaps of footage of us on tour, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like you just go through this, like being in a band and touring around. You just there's just so many amazing points, and like you just, I don't know, but it all kind of blurs into one as well, especially when you're on the road and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know.
And sometimes you can't really laugh at those things until afterwards, many days afterwards.
When your car breaks down
that's
for
funny.
the 13th time.
It's like really not funny, but then a bit later it is.
But on film, when you're looking at yourself and how cut you are, and you're in the middle of nowhere and your car definitely has broken down for the 13th time. It's actually quite funny on video, but that's probably not funny now. I don't know.
I think another highlight was meeting so many cool people. Especially in Adelaide at Underground, I met heaps of people that I'm still friends with now, and that was really cool because they were also, I don't know, they were sort of this group and this scene, and they were all just sort of part of this big scene. And
I think the word's cult.
Cult, yeah. And they were just, they were heaps rad people, and so that was cool. And just so many people that totally blessed us, like let us stay in their house and gave us heaps of good food, and destroy their houses sort of and stuff, and just so many good things that came our way, totally undeserved, and we just went, oh, okay, cool, let's just go with it. So.
Yeah, I think I was blown away by, especially like as a Christian and touring around and stuff, and I don't know, like you definitely know that there's a God, and you just see the hospitality of God's people in action. When you have no money, for example, or when you've been billeted at somebody's place for 2 weeks or one day or whatever, like, and they're just so giving, just time after time, and you're just like, what? Like, how can you just be so giving? It really challenged our faith in God and who we were as people, and just like the way that I am now is that if anyone comes in my home, I'm really hospitable and I really go out of my way because I know the price that, like, I now know the price that those people paid, and I didn't fully understand at the time, but I was still blown away. But now I just really want to be able to give, and I think that's made a huge impact in my life and stuff. Just seeing God in action, because sometimes you don't have to be in a band to experience that, but for us, I just feel so thankful because, a lot of times you can be a Christian and you can kind of just get in your cozy kind of your job or your church, and everything's kind of there and it's provided, and you kind of just take it for granted, and there's an apathy that kind of breeds in that, and so it's good to kind of get out of your comfort zone. And I don't know, that was a highlight, just those times where we were actually at our lowest. So and just watching God do his thing. So, but probably, I don't know, a highlight just recently would have been just playing our reunion show. We did a show in Brisbane and a show in Toowoomba, and Toowoomba show was really heavily promoted, and it was just amazing, the support and all the people that came in. There was 10,000 people there, and they're all going off and chanting the FRUGALS name, which is kind of weird after 3 years. So I don't know, that was just amazing just to get back together with the band again after 3 years, and like it wasn't like like not many bands can break up and 3 years later get back together and get 10